On this episode of All the Mods 10, we automate glass, we automate poop, we automate crafting Insanium Bees as well as normal mystical agriculture seeds, and we automate growing mystical agriculture seeds in a way that is clean, ready to look at, and lag-free. Hello there, welcome back to another episode. So I want to spend a couple minutes talking about this setup because I feel like I didn't fully explain everything, but I just wanted to show you guys how fast this is going now with the cursed earth. That's because we're tick accelerating the cursed earth. So let me show you how I'm doing that. We need a clock. Last episode when I was building that, I ran into a problem where these cog blocks basically just move redstone around. And so I put all of these underneath 5x5 cursed earth. And when you put the clock down, you can see that it ticks it once, but then this stays on. You can see it says power 15. That's because once this is powered, it turns this off. So it kind of conflicts. But what you can do is put a 1 block gap in between and get a repeater. And then you can see that it starts and stops. So then you put this guy on 5 or 10 ticks, and then it just ticks, and it goes really fast. Okay, so that's that. And the other thing is I wanted to explain how this dissolution chamber crafting works. Because of the way the pattern provider works, is it basically because we're storing all of these liquids in our system, it's inputting the exact amount for each recipe directly into the dissolution chambers. So we don't have to have different ones for latex, pink slime, and etheric gas. These work, each one works for all 3 of those cases. And so we can have 4 of them at the same time doing latex crafts or pink slime or etheric gas because the pattern provider will just input the appropriate liquid inside of it. So I'll show you really quick for these tier 3 efficiency ones, for example. Let's say I want to make one that's going to require latex and pink slime. So once we start that, this first one gets the latex and this one has the pink slime. So it just works seamlessly. And then the other thing is, why did we set all of this up? Well, if we take a look at the star is going to need industrial for going, of course, because it basically needs all the mods. But something else we want to do is all of these, all the modium alloys. If we take a look at the Paxel, I want to make the Paxel from the Allthemodium Paxel. And that requires all of these things, and those require these alloys. So if we look at the alloys from Allthemodium, one of them you make it through Ars Nouveau, which we will do soon, not in this episode. The other one is from the dissolution chamber. So we needed industrial for going for this one. And the other one is from Powa. So this one we can do already. We have all the ingredients and we have the energizing orb automated. This is kind of the easiest one. It just takes a lot of power. And then we just completed this one, and soon we'll do the Ars Nouveau one, and then we'll be able to make the weapons as well. The other thing we need is to get into Forbidden and Arcanis, which we will. Okay, and then one other thing with this, I want to set up a quick thing. So something nice. Industrial Foregoing has a lot of different machines. The Materials Stonework Factory being one of them. And I am going to use that to make glass. So those are crafted. And we need some super factory stuff to get it going. And I'm going to set those up just in this wall right here. So if you look at, well, let's make another one. if you look at the Stonework factory and you press U to look at the uses on it, these are all the things that it can make. And so it can do like obsidian, it can do bricks, it can do stone, glass, all these things. So the only thing that's kind of useful for us right now is the glass. And we'll set that up like so. Put our factory manager, I'm sorry, the inventory cables here. Okay, so these guys are here. We're going to give them these upgrades, which will make it a lot nicer. These are, by the way, the tier 3s that we can make now that we have Aether gas. So a couple of things about the Material Stonework factory. Some things, like, for example, cobblestone right now, you see that it needs a bucket of water and a bucket of lava, but it doesn't consume any of it. If you go to something like granite, it consumes both the water and the lava. So you can look through here. Cobblestone and deep slate are the only two things that don't consume the water in there. So we don't have to worry about feeding it in there. We can just set it and forget it. So if we look at water, we'll need 3 buckets of those for the 3 machines. Same with lava. If you did want to set it up with something that uses those things up, all you would do is just store it inside of this interface, and then you would feed the machines with it. But we don't need it, so we're not going to worry about it. We set all these guys up, so now it has a bucket of water and lava. And then the way this goes is, first it's going to generate cobblestone. Then we're going to crush the cobblestone down into gravel, crush it again into sand, and then smelt it into glass. And the last one, we want it to do nothing. Okay, so this is effectively set up to make glass. And because we have the tier 3 upgrades, it's going to go very quickly. But we need to give it power. So we're going to go Stoneworks. And then we're going to have to extract. Well, let's just do that for now. There it is. So now these guys start working, and just like that, it's making glass. And what I'm going to do really quickly is make a glass bulk storage cell. We're going to put it in here. And we come back over here. And we need to extract from the bottom, we'll say. These ones will turn off on the bottom, just in case. Because we don't want to pull the other things out. And we're going to just add it here. This is such messy code, but oh well. We're going to input Stoneworks, bottom side. And we're going to output 2 in the interface. Just like that, we have glass effectively automated. Okay, so if we look at glass, we already have 2100, and this is going to keep going up. So that is a very nice machine. The other thing I wanted to make, I'm making this room down here, and this will be our little growing area for mystical agriculture. And I'm going to use the hydroponic beds to, to grow the mystical agriculture seeds. And in order to do that, if you look at the crafting recipe, we need fertilizer. So we have to set up a bit of fertilizer automation. And the way you do that is with the sewer and the sewage composter. So let's see. I wonder if I can fit it here. Let's try it. Sewer goes here. And the composter will go underneath it. And we're going to set the sheep in there. Guess it needs 2 blocks. Okay. We'll cover them up like so, and we can put glass. What kind of glass do we want to put in there? Let's just start with normal glass. Okay. So we have a sheep in there. These guys need power, so sewer and sewage composter. Something, because we've been doing this one by one, I've labeled them all differently, but you can make a tag like separate labels and just say, like I like to do tag underscore FE, for example. And we just have this one tag instead of listing all of these machines, and then we can double label the machines. That's how I do it for things that require a lot of different machines. But in this case, because we went step by step, I didn't end up doing that. Okay, so we'll power those 2 machines. And we push the labels. Don't forget to push your labels. So this guy has started collecting sewage, and we're going to push down below into this guy, and this guy's making fertilizer. It is that simple, and we're going to which one's doing over here. We'll input from sewer comp, I think it was. Bottom side. And input. I done goofed here, but to the interface. What is going on here? Oh, shoot. We have a loose wither. Good thing we have our chunks claimed. Let me go ahead and get a gate. We should have set up a backup plan for this. Let's just kill him and make another one. Okay, so this guy's set up now, and it's making fertilizer. If we look, we already have 55. So we can now make the hydroponic beds. And these guys require ether gas to run. And I'm going to make bees for ether gas just so it can be a little bit faster, because I don't know exactly how much they use. So let's go ahead and take care of that. The way you make that is, so you can see these bees cannot breed among themselves, and you need to get the pink slime bee and feed it ether gas. And that one you get by slimy bees and feeding them pink slime. So we're going to make 5 of those. So let's get 5 pink slimes. And we need some cages. Let's go over to our breeding chambers. There was a change with productive bees, and now both of the parents need to have the maxed out genes for it to work. And I upgraded these guys to the speedier upgrades. Those are a new addition. That makes it a lot faster. So look how fast these guys are going to breed now. It's basically instant. So those guys are going to go. We'll take that, and then we need 5 buckets of these. Turn it into pink slime, ether gas. So from the centrifuge, we're going to input the fluid, and then we're going to output honey as well as fluid Aether gas. So with that, let's see what it takes to set up I'm sorry, mystical agriculture. What we need is the pedestals for mystical. So we'll need 8. Red dye, red dye. 9 of these guys. So we'll need 8 pedestals and 1 altar. And of course, I'm going to use Super Factory Manager. Somebody on the All the Mods 10 Discord was wondering how to use Super Factory Manager to automate the seed crafting that can also do the bees. So for mystical agriculture, you can do essence bees, which, let's say Insanium Bee. So in order to make the Insanium Bee, you have to go through the different tiers for Supremium, Imperium, Tetrium, Iridium, and then Inferium, and make them going up all the way. And that's going to be annoying to craft by hand. So I set up a little Super Factory Manager code to help out the person in Discord. And so I'm going to use it in my own build as well. The way this works is, why don't we just go ahead and get it set it up, and then I'll show you guys. So here will be the altar. We need a way to tick this. I'm just going to put a lever down for now and hide it back here. Put it underground and then put the barrel. Okay. This goes in there. We have the labels. There's the pedestal essence. So we do 4 of those guys, and I'm going to alternate so it looks prettier. Here's the pattern provider. Here's the barrel. There's the altar. And here are the resource ones. Okay. Push those labels in. Now this is essentially set up. So let's see. I really don't have any Inferium, do I? I have a little bit. So let's see if we can make some tier 1 what are they called? Some tier 1 seeds. How about some wood seeds? Oh, do I have prosperity? I have a little bit. So let's go ahead and take that. So we'll take our prosperity seed. And we'll take some oak logs. And essence. Okay. And something else we need to do is we set this to blocking mode, and we want to lock the craft until the primary crafting result is returned. Okay. And then we can just put all those in there, and they go into the thing. And once it's done, it comes back, or it goes back into here. So it's in our system. If we look at mystical agriculture, here's the wood seed. We already had some from opening those seeds early on. And just to demonstrate, let's go make a pattern. Okay, so we have the wood seed in here. Our code is set. All of these are connected, right? 4 of them were for the essences. The other 4 were for the resources, and we have the altar in the middle. This is set to blocking mode and to return the primary crafts when the result is finished. And then our code, it works as such. So every 20 ticks is going to input from the barrel anything that contains egg or seed in the name of it. And that encompasses all of the base seeds. So it'll do the normal base seeds as well as the animal ones, and any of the eggs for the bees. So it'll input those first, and it'll output those to the altar, which is in the middle. Then it's going to input anything that contains the word essence in it, and that'll be any of the tier of essences, and there will only be 4 at a time inside of the barrel because this is set to blocking mode, and it's going to insert the results when the first one returns back. So this barrel is only ever going to have 1 set of ingredients. So it'll only have 4 essences, and once it picks that up, it's going to output 1 of those essences to each of the essence pedestals. And then the only thing that will be left in there, because we already used the base seed or the egg, we use the essence, so then it's going to be the 4 resources left inside of it. So then it's going to just input the rest of the things from the barrel, which are the 4 resources, and then it's going to output 1 to each of the resource pedestals. So that basically populates everything in there to start the craft. And then in this separate tick statement, it's going to check if the pedestals are empty. So it's not going to extract unless these pedestals are empty. So if I go ahead and make 2 of these wood seeds, for example, let's do 3. Okay. So it's going to start. The first ones go in there. See how the chest is empty? Because it's going to wait to put the next one in. And then it does that. Once the craft is done and these pedestals don't have items in it, that's when it extracts, because we know that the craft is done. So it just did that, and we have 3 wood seeds. So that's a really convenient way you can automate this entire thing with Super Factory Manager. And not only does it handle normal seeds, it also does the eggs. The difficult thing to automate with, like, say, the Insanium egg is, it's really hard to filter the egg going into the middle because it's the same egg that is also the result of the craft. So you can't blacklist it because it has to go in the middle. And then when you pick it up, so it's hard to do it with one setup. You can do it with modular routers, but it would require multiple modular routers. You couldn't do it with just one. So that's why I really like Super Factory Manager, because for stuff like this, and look how clean this looks. So all of this is automated with, just a simple setup. And not only does it work with auto crafting, but we can insert things manually, as you saw how we did earlier. So we don't have to set up crafts for everything. We can just set it in the barrel and it'll work. The only caveat with that is it's set up to only work 1 at a time. So we wouldn't be able to put in like 5 seeds all at the same time and have it work. We would have to do it individually. Okay. So with that set, let's see what we want to do next. Why don't we take a look at the hydroponic beds and see what it takes to set those guys up. So we'll go ahead and craft 1. So that goes on the ground, and we put in a seed. Or do we put the seed like that? Okay, so we just plant the seed on top of it. Okay, so this needs power. Let's give it some power. And now it's going to do work. And will it pick this? No. It requires, I believe, both water and. So let's grab some water. We're going to give it water. That goes in there. And it also needs ether gas. So we'll give it that. I guess we can only pump that in. So you can see it's at 14% now. And if we use those tier upgrades, it's going to start growing faster and faster. So once it's matured, do we have to break it manually? Okay, so the way it works is it only will farm itself, like it'll collect it with ether gas inside of it. So if you grab a tank, the problem is I'm trying to only put in 10 millibuckets. Let's look at one of these guys. And can we fill that up with ether gas? We sure can. And then we put this guy in. So now you see it's growing and it's harvesting itself. So that is pretty quick, but it's going to go even quicker when we set it up with our warden to do the soul extraction thing with industrial forgoing. So this is how the hydroponic beds work, and we're going to use it for mystical agriculture. The reason why I haven't used mystical agriculture earlier is because I wanted there wasn't, when I started playing this mod pack, there wasn't a great solution to growing mystical agriculture seeds. You could do it with growth accelerators from Applied Energistics, but that I didn't really like that idea. The nice thing about resourceful or productive bees is that it's a mod that is completely contained within itself. So these upgrades that make it super, super fast are part of productive bees, as well as the way you process the resources. So it's all inclusive with bees. It could be fast, powerful, and you had more options for bees early on with all kinds of resources, where mystical agriculture did not have as many options for resources. That being said, there are some things from mystical agriculture I prefer, like the wood essence, like the dye essence. I'd rather have one thing that I can convert into multiple other things than to like set up a bunch of different flowers for dye and then get like all of the different dyes. I'd rather have one dye essence that I can craft into any of the dyes that I want. Same thing with the wood essence. You can craft it into like any kind of wood that you want, so you don't have to farm multiple kinds. Like if I don't have mangrove logs, I have to go outside and search for them and then put it inside of the feeding slab. Whereas with the wood essence, I can just make any type of log that I want. So basically all of that to say, like, we didn't get into mystical agriculture early on because it was kind of slow. I wanted to set it up with the hydroponic beds. That's kind of new. It didn't exist all that long ago. And yeah, now we can have best of both worlds. I'm going to bring you guys back to go ahead and set up these, because right now we don't. So I have 5 of these prosperity blocks and not enough prosperity to even get started. You can do it with mystical agriculture, but I'm going to set up the bees for it just because we have it all set up already. So let's take care of that, and then when we come back in the next episode, we can have access to all of the essence, so we can craft and do things with it. I'm 1 prosperity shard short of making 5 prosperity bees. These guys can't breed amongst themselves, and you have to make them with the prosperity blocks. So let's set up a digital miner really quickly, and we're going to do prosperity, C/prosperity. So that's simple. We just got 11 and we ran out of power, but you can see there's 823 other ores that it could mine. Okay. So we have 5 prosperity bees. Let's put them down here. Okay, and we'll make a bulk storage cell for prosperity. So we're getting tons of prosperity. That's really, really fast. Wow. Okay, and then let's look at our Insanium bees. So you need the prosperity bee spawn egg, which is kind of annoying to make actually, because you have to squish the prosperity bees, but you can't breed prosperity bees together. So that means we're going to have to do a bunch more of the crystalline bees and feed them prosperity blocks, which is no problem. So let's take our crystalline bees again. I think they're still in here. So let's do 30 more of those guys. Sure. Okay. So we have 30 prosperity bees and we check our bottles. It's stacked full of bottles. We put those guys in here and they are going to get squished for their gene materials. It looks like we're going to need more Infusion. So let's take the digital miner because each one of these bees, each one of these bees requires a block of Infusion, which is 9 plus the 4. So I only have 152 and a block. Do we have enough for? Well, anyways, let's use the digital miner. And we got 5 exactly. So let's take that downstairs in here with a treat. Okay, so we have the prosperity bee eggs. Okay, we set up the digital miner. Let's put a gate on it for power. And we reconfigure for Inferium. The digital miner is a very convenient tool after you have the ability to get it, because for all the things that you didn't mine before, you can just quickly grab a little bit before you set up bees. So that should be okay. We are going to need 20 of these guys. Let's make 19. And we will need 20 of those guys. Okay, so we split these up into 5 equal parts, and we can go to our barrel and go shoop. And look at that. The egg works as well. So that goes down, and then we just look at it in our corner, the corner of our screen. As soon as it finishes, we put the next one in. And again, with this setup, you can only do one at a time. So if you're doing it manually, but that's so we can easily automate it. I could make it so you can just dump everything in there, but I want to be able to use the crafter as well. Okay, so now we have our Inferium bee spawn eggs. So let's get these guys set up. Oh, you know what? This doesn't say that it can't breed among itself. So I bet you we can breed them. Let's grab the treats and some cages and see if we can't do that. So now we have 2 Inferium bees. And if we put them here, look at that. We can breed them together. That's nice. So the rest of these guys we can save to craft the higher tier bees. Okay, we set those guys up here. And again, we'll need a bulk storage. We'll whitelist it in our importer so that it'll go into our bulk storage. Okay, holy crap, we already have 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. It's crazy how productive bees are better at mystical agriculture than mystical agriculture itself. Okay, so just like that, we're getting a ton. And because we're having such great results, we can already make the crystal. This guy. So we'll make the normal crystal. How about... Oh, this one only has 500 uses, so we might need a bunch of them. Probably not that many, but let's make some of the higher tiered ones. And I will show you guys how you can automate this with the these guys, the quantum crafters. They are very, very good at doing that. So we have 10 Supremium. Which is enough to make us the Master Infusion Crystal. Okay, that goes in there. These guys are all extras. So the way we do that is we're going to set up all of these essences with the Master Infusion Crystal, right? So you set up the pattern on all of them. Where is Insanium? Here it is. Okay. And we're going to go to a crafter and put those guys all in there. Another thing, let's make a bulk storage. That's fine. We don't need bulk storage. Okay. So these guys, we want to, let's say keep a stack of each one. So that way we always have it in case we want to craft. Like if we want to do manual crafting, we can just grab it out of our system and craft things manually. So we'll craft 64, craft 64. I'm sorry, we'll keep 64 of each one. And then we will craft the rest of it to the higher tiers. Okay, once you have that set up, we're just going to enable them all and look at our essence. Look at that. We have 64 of this one. And it's crafting up 25 of the Imperium essences. Okay. So with that, we don't have to worry about anything. We're going to get a stack, 64 of each of the tiers of the different essences. And then the rest of it is going to craft all the way up to the Insanium essence. Okay. And with that, what we can do is start doing the bees, the Insanium bees. Okay. We craft that. And I guess once we have it on the Insanium, is there different... we'll just make a crafting recipe for it. Okay, so there's the Insanium Bee, and then we need this Premium Bee. The bees we'll put down here. Okay, so we have the pattern set up for all of these. The blocks will go into our assembler matrix, and then the rest of these things will go in the barrel, which is connected to our the infusion setup for mystical agriculture. So those guys will go over there, and we have three Inferium bees. So if we try to make Insanium bees, it's going to say that we're missing all of these things, which we just have to wait for a little bit longer. So I am also going to make the down crafting recipes. So if we look at Insanium, we can turn those into Supremium, Imperium, all the way down the chain to Inferium. Okay, we'll put these guys in here as well. let's put it next to the other one so it looks pretty. Alrighty, guys, it's been just a few minutes later. I have built this kind of area. I prettied it up a little bit, but I don't really love it. These walls are really flat, so is the ceiling. So I'm gonna add some more character to this later on, but it's okay for now. So we have all of these hydroponic beds, and let's go ahead and order some of these upgrades for them. How about, there are 21. So we'll make 15 more of each. Let's see the tier 3 ones. Sugar. That's okay, whatever. What we can do is take our nature seeds. Well, let's set these up first. So I have inventory cables running behind the wall, behind all of these hydroponic beds, and they come down the wall and they connect to this interface as well as this factory manager. I decided to do a separate setup for these guys than these. I don't know why. Just I could have easily tied it into that one, but this seemed to make more sense to me. So the first thing we need to do is give it a name so we can stay organized, and we'll call this Hydroponic Automation. And every tick we're going to input power from the interface and output that to Hydroponic. Okay. Now we need our label gun. We pull the labels. There's the interface, and then here are the hydroponics. Again, if you don't know how I'm doing all of them that are connected together, is by holding down control. And as long as they're the same blocks touching each other and they're connected to inventory cable, like I can't do that with these walls. So I'm holding out control, but it's only labeling one of them. That's because if you were like doing it on grass and then you accidentally right click it, if you try to label 10,000 pieces of grass, your game's going to crash. So it has to be connected by the inventory cable. And don't forget, we always push our labels. And this doesn't have any power in it. So we take anything that has power, like our helmet, and we right click it in there. We're going to set this to 1 million. Now all of these should have power. Okay, next they need water. So let's go ahead and drag some old water in there, and we'll put about 4 buckets of water in there. Okay. Then we are going to put that. So there's that, and then we also need aether gas. Let's contain a bucket of that in there as well. All right, and every 20 ticks, we're going to input fluid from interface, and we're going to output fluid to hydroponic. And theoretically, this should do both the water and the ether gas. So let's take a look. Ether gas is full, and so is the water. Okay. So these guys are all full. That is fantastic. Okay. And now all we have to do is input. So we're going to do a forget, and then we're going to input items from hydroponic, and we're going to output to interface. So that should be fully automated. Let's take our nature seeds, for example. And if we put down our nature seed over there, you can see that it grows. That matured, and it turned into nature essence. So that is automated. Now we just need to put these guys in there, and you can see it'll start going much faster. And then we'll take these nature seeds. Why is it? Oh, let's give it a direction. So we're going to input from the thing bottom side. Okay, so it took those. And if you look, we have 70 Insanium essences. So with that, we can craft our Insanium bees as well. This has taken me less than an hour to set all of this up, and we're going to have, we're basically done with mystical agriculture. So let's look at Insanium bees, and we want 5 of those guys, right? Oh no, we need more Insanium essence. Okay, I guess an hour is not long enough. How about we start off with like 2 of them? 1 of them? So you'll see first it starts with the Prudentium. This works beautifully. Thank you, Super Factory Manager. Honestly, this episode got me really excited because look how clean this setup is. And like this setup as well, it causes no lag. It can be sped up even more than this when we get the souls. It's like fully automated. I haven't had to craft a single one of these by hand. I didn't have to craft a single power energizing orb recipe by hand, all because of Super Factory Manager and how cool it is. So let's take our Insanium Bee egg. We'll need a treat to give it the max stats and a block of Insanium. And let's go ahead and set this guy up. And just to double check, yep, he needs an Insanium block, and the combs turn into Insanium essence. That is phenomenal. We might be getting, okay, it just gives 4 Insanium essence. So we just need 4 more of these guys, and I think that will be enough Inferium for all of our needs. Okay. Anyways, super fun episode. I really enjoyed making this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Thank you for watching. I'll go ahead and populate these guys with more seeds. That's, you know, pretty easy. I'll just stick them in the barrel and put them in there and make